Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Again, we are going to continue with this video. So we have constructed this room. This is the room UI. As you remember, we need to create the grab the data from the database and populate it here. So we are going to create a room controller first, just like normal. We have to create a room controller. Create no room controller, and this time we will only fill out the data we need. Room controller. Okay, so first of all we are going to need to grab the data from the database when the item loads. See here, when this loads up we need to fill out the data. So in the database here we have to fill this table. So let's go into the code here. Here we need to fill out, so that is called fill. Do we have two types of, yeah, we do have. So one is this one, and so I have also thought of an idea, because you can see here we have added several room options, but let's say if you have more options, it's actually better to give them those options even for room types. So both, you'll do both. So fill room types, this is one item. Fill room types, meaning combo box. Fill room types combo box is something you have to do. Second you have to do is fill hotel names. You know, these are two combo boxes that you have to do. So these two function doesn't exist, so we have to create them, of course. So remember, in the room UI, after the constructor, we just put them here. Public function, public void fill room types. So it's just going to be a public function, return is void, public void, and then we have these two functions. Okay, again, so what's the purpose of this guy? Grab the information from the database and fill the combo box. Here also grab the information from the database and fill them up. Okay, so of course we need to create for the, because the hotel names come from hotel controller essentially, and also room type come from room controller. You know, you could actually call separate classes to achieve those things, or you could have both of them in the room class. Yeah, so when the room fills up, when the room UI comes up, we want to see those data populated. Okay, so let's go to the room controller here. Let's create this function. In the room controller I will create a function, public void, not void, sorry, we have to give a list of all the room types available. So we'll create this as an array list. So string and array list of string, and then we'll call this probably as get hotel names, for example. Get hotel names, all the hotel names, show me. Yeah, specific function they're going to return is just going to return an array list. Doesn't have any variables either, so it's only going to return array string. So let's have an array list. This is going to be a temporary item. Array list string that we are using to store the data. Found hotel names, or derived, retrieved, or result set. So you can say all hotel names. So hotel names will be pulled up from the database. Okay, equal new array list a string, and we are just going to add our hotel names into this, and then return, of course, return hotel names, right? And then here we are going to add a for loop and grab the information from the database. So what will happen is this is going to get the result from the database. And if you remember last time also, when we created the customer UI, see for example customer controller, we have this result set that is going to be received. So do we actually process the result set? Yeah, we do. So we are going to set this result set item. So in the controller we are going to get the result set from the database and then query the data from the database. So let's create a query here. So what will be a query? String query. all hotel names. So select hotel names and remember htl underscore name spelling from hotel. That's it. Very small query. We just have to retrieve all the queries and send it across. And we are going to need a result set object results. Okay. Initially it's going to be null, and we could even assign it directly. We can say result set equal to, and then equal to database controller into the database. We are going to send it. And what is the send data? So get MySQL result. This is a get MySQL result. We are sending the query in order to get the results. It's going to return a result set. Okay, Control Shift I, because we have to import the result set here. Otherwise you can type it. Okay, once we have the result set, what we are going to do is we are going to go through the for loop and process it. So we are going to need a try catch block because we are going to process a result set. There may be some issues with the exception, so let's have exception E, and as usual if there is an error we'll just display what the error is. So in this case get the hotel names, and we are in the controller of course as usual, so we will just display an error message if there is an issue in the exception. So let's find here, here's an example of an exception. Just display an error message. Okay, that is something we can do. It's okay. Yeah, import. So how do you know there is results? You use a while loop. So while this result set that we have just received, if there are hotel names, it's possible that there are no hotel names. So if the results dot next, meaning if it is able to go and select data from the next row, then we will continue to add this hotel names dot add hotel names dot add. So we are going to add these strings into the array list, hotel names array list. So what you do is results dot okay get MySQL. So you can use get string if you know the column name, or you can use other methods to give the value number, but in this case it's easier to give the field name because we know we are looking for hotel name htl underscore name. So we are going to grab the htl name underscore name from the database, and then this is going to retrieve it for us, all the hotel names into the item here. See, and then we are going to return it. So this is an example case where we are grabbing all the hotel names, putting them into an array list and return them. Of course, so if you remember correctly here in the customer controller also, whenever we are accessing the database system, we actually do the connection. So remember, database connection has to be closed before you return. So just close the database connection here, otherwise it will remain persistent open. So we want to close it. And then of course, oh, there is an issue with the exception. Does it cause exception? Yeah. Okay, so this also goes in here in the try catch block. While hotel names dot add done, after the while loop close hotel names. There we have it to get the hotel name. Yeah. Now you also have to create one more method, public array list. So based on this one, we are trying to retrieve all the room types. Get room types, and get the room types here refers to getting all the room types from the currently added room types. That way we will be able to give, generally speaking, you are only going to but wait, if there are no room types, this drop down is going to be empty, right? Now we'll just add into them. We are not going to remove whatever is there. Okay, so this is going to increase. Okay, forget about this one for now. Okay, make it simple. Right, so you have hotel names here, and then we have the room UI where we are getting them. So let's forget about the room type for now. Fill room types, we already have some values there, so we are going to use them. What do the fill hotel name do? It goes in here, it takes this drop down, change variable name called hotel combo box, and then it goes into the room controller. So that's going to be an array list. So it's an array list room types. So array list room types string, this case string room, hotel names equal, then we say room controller. So again, remember, Java is a freestyle code and you can put your own stuff easily. So here this is going to be a static method, public static. That's the only way you're going to be able to call it, right? So room controller dot, see, that is get hotel names. So now we have all the hotel names, and once we have the hotel names, what we do is we add them into the combo box one by one in the for loop. Okay, so control shift I to import the array list, and then for integer I equal to 0, I is less than hotel names dot size I plus plus. What do? We add into the hotel names dot add. We have an issue here. Oh, we are not returning. We are not returning. Yes, it's okay, fine. Hotel names dot get I. Yeah, so this is going to fill out, and then once you have all the items in the drop down, user can choose and just fill it up, you know. So that's the idea here. Let me try to show how it works. Room. Oh, we haven't linked it up. Okay, so what is room? Room controller has a create method. We don't have it yet, so just like the customer controller, we'll copy that part, and we have the create function. We are going to create a new room, therefore we will need a room function first of all. And what does it do? It creates a new room UI dot set visible. So we are actually going to call the create method in the room controller, and that is in the main UI, of course. Here if you click the room button, it goes to this one, and here we say room controller dot create. Now you'll have a value. Let's see that room. What happened there? So there does seem to be a database connectivity issue, I think. Why is that? Because it's grabbing the hotel names from the database, but why is it so slow? Hotel names. Maybe we did add a hotel, right? Yeah. I think some error happened, but we are not printing it. Do we have any prints? Nothing. What's that? Oh, it's here. Clicked it. No. So room controller triggered. It goes in here. New room insert visible true. Simple. Application UI room button action performed room controller dot create. Let's kill it. Try again. So when you go into the database, it's going to grab all the data from the database and return, right? So select. Let's check this. Is our query correct? Select HTML name from hotel. Of course it's correct, right? Let's try to run it. That is see. So while has next it results get string hotel name. There we are retrieving everything and then returning it. Hotel names should work fine. Let's run it again. Clicked room. What happens? Set visible true, but doesn't pop up. there's some problem in the setup. So when the room UI loads, say fill hotel names equal room controller get hotel names, and for integer equal to 0, hotel names not add hotel names not get. So this fills in all the hotel names. Okay, so in this case hotel names, oh, this is the problem. See, we have to put a hotel names combo box. Let's change. So this dot, this dot, this is a mistake we did, remember. It's actually not hotel names, right? This variable, oh, we made a mistake. We could use this or not, but this is actually unique. Without this it would work. Why is that? Add item. Yeah, man. See, that's the problem. So I'm just going to add one more hotel and see if it comes back here. Hotel, let's say the Holiday in double that, right? That's how you do it. Add, already added, close, room. Yeah, there it is. See, so this is what we were talking about. So you have to give some kind of a drop down. Take the drop down and then fill this. Room number is this, deluxe room, penthouse like this, basic room price, barastic. So example like this, 1200 or 3000. You just type the amount and add. So this add, edit, delete is normal, just like any other case here. So what you do is you go to the room controller, then you have your store method where you are going to retrieve the data and send, just like this one, just like this controller. Get the data and send it into the store method, and it's going to be different because you are going to insert into room, and then you give the order again. Remember, there is auto increment field, so you are just giving the basic information, and you can choose like this values, this information, and then you have this little message box, something like that. Okay, so let's do the room and then we can finish up, right? The rest you can try to implement yourself. Store method in the controller, yes. So we have the create method, and once we create something, it's going to store these items into the database. And oh, why does it have this? We don't need to import those things. Okay, so does the customer exist or not? What does it mean? Does the room exist or not? So if room exists, how do you know a room exists? The room exist criteria is by using the room number and hotel ID. In this case, hotel name. So that's going to create a little bit of problem because we don't have a way to verify the hotel ID. We only have a hotel name, but our hotel names are unique, right? So I guess we have to do a little bit of query there. Okay, right. So if room exists, first of all, in order to store a room, you are going to need, let's see this. In order to create a room, you are going to need, where's the room number, and then price and status. I'm going to copy this. If you want to store a room, you have to give me this information. See, you have to give me this information. Is this not integer? Or integer? Room number. Okay. Room number, room type, room price, hotel ID, and status. As I told you, status is by default free. We are not going to worry about that. And ID also is auto increment, so you are not worried about that. So room equal. So remember, this variable can be any name actually. Room, again same thing in this order. You just have to remove the data types, of course. Paste. So room number, room type, price, and hotel ID. Here there will be a problem because you don't know the hotel ID. It wants you to give something for the status also. Yeah, free. So you have a room now. Does the room exist or not? Where is your hotel ID? How do you know your hotel ID? So in the store method, you actually have to send the hotel ID. Okay, so that's something you have to do. You'll get that. So you have your room equal new room, created the room, if the room exists or not. Does the room exist or not? So you can send room number, comma hotel ID. And if they are the same, there should be a problem, because same room table cannot have room number and hotel ID. That means the hotel is having two different, you know, rooms with the same number. Room exists or not. So there is a little bit of function here which we have to copy paste. Room exists or not. So customer exists or not. It's easier to modify. Does the room? Oh, sorry. Does the room exist or not? Room exists or not? So you're sending room ID, room number, comma. Is it ID? It is ID, right? Hotel ID is not hotel ID. Hotel. No, hotel. I'm looking for this one. Hotel ID is integer. Okay, that's something you have to remember. Room exists. Hotel ID. Right, so you're going to give this, and then exist will be false. Select room number, comma, from room where room underscore number equal this room number and hotel underscore ID. Is it like that? Hotel ID. Let's see the room again. I have it here, I think. Yeah. Room ID, HTL underscore ID, hotel ID. Sorry, copy. And HTL ID equal, again, single quote, in the middle, double quote, plus plus, there you are, variable. Yeah, so this is because we have to append it. Yeah. Now you have a room number. So this way you are going to find if the room exists or not. And remember, it's not customer info, room info, and then room info dot next. If there is room info, then there is some data. So if the room exists, we can't add this. If it doesn't exist, we can continue. So if the room exists, room number, hotel ID. If the room exists, actually this is simple. Let me just check. Room exists. Does the room exist or not? If room exists, room number and hotel ID. What do you think is this error? Expected. Okay, because it's a function. Save to the DB. What do you want to save to the DB? This room, because you have already created this. Room number is integer, and this guy also wants room number integer. Okay, save DB to the room. It's a room we are sending, so similar, save to DB. This time we are sending a room. That's why we are creating them every time in the controller actually. So you could actually use them by specifying the type of object. Then the query will be different, of course. Save to DB room, and then you have here your room. Insert into room. What are the fields? You see, I need room hotel ID, comma room number, comma room type and status. We are not going to insert that because we know it's going to be free, right? Room status. Right, so type here the types. Hotel ID, we already have them here. Copy this and just enter dot get the hotel ID. That is, so this way you use object, because later you don't have to worry about where the data is coming from. And then this is going to be hotel room number, sorry, room dot get room number, and then you have room type, which is the last one, room dot get room type, and you delete this part plus, of course. So 3 different items we are grabbing into the database, and then it will just save the data. It says this is room, saved to the database, and it sends the data to the MySQL. So this is an example way to insert a room. One problem though is hotel ID, we don't have it yet. We are sending it here, but we don't have it yet. So in the store function you need a hotel ID, but you actually have a hotel name in the room UI. See here we have a hotel name, so we have to do a query before we send it. So in the room controller, we can have it small, because everything to do with room we better put in the room. So what's happening there is public a string hotel ID is integer, get hotel ID ID from hotel name. If you have the name, then you can actually get the ID, because hotel names are unique. Then you are going to do a query like this. Yeah, so this is actually like this. Yeah, it's going to be a catch exception. Sorry. Yeah, so you are getting an integer, again integer hotel ID equals 0, return hotel ID, then you paste this part and try to edit this. Okay, what happens here is array list hotel names is going to be, so don't worry about this part. Select hotel name from, sorry, select ID. See, you want actually this ID, it's going to appear here. So from hotel, where st underscore name equal, then you have single double plus, then you put here hotel name. Yeah, you are basically grabbing all the hotel names. So it's just to get the hotel ID, guys. So once we have the hotel ID, we are just going to get this, and this is going to be one item, of course, remember. So we are saying hotel ID, oh, we already have it, guys. Hotel ID is going to be equal string get.name hotel ID. There we have an integer, see. So it's not integer dot pass int this query result. Yeah, now we have a hotel. There is no need for while loop even, because you are going to have one hotel only, but still it's okay. Yeah, so this is going to get the hotel. So get hotel from name is something you have sent. So what are we doing here? This is static. It's getting a little lengthy, but you should follow up and understand what's happening here. Our target here is in the room UI. When we are sending, when we click add, we are going to grab this information, but when we are sending it, we are actually going to send in a specific order. See, in that button, when you are adding a room, you have to make sure you send all the items you need. Number one, we have in the room controller, when you are creating or storing a item, you need room number. See, all these things you have to send. So how do you send them? That's the question here. So what did this set function come from? Controller. So controller is not controller, room controller dot store. Now do you want room number? So let's get these things. Okay, So we can actually create them here to make it easier for us to get. What is room number? Is that this message box? This is the one. Okay. Dot get text. As usual, remember to trim, and this is not going to be an integer, so you actually have to pass this. This is going to be integer dot pass int. Now you have a room number. Okay. Integer dot pass int room dot get. What is this error? There is an issue somewhere. Pass int. Oh, room number may not have been initialized. Room number equal. This is the problem. Man, this dot. So it's going to be a problem because this is referring to. This is also room number. So let's change this variable as room number. Room num. Yeah, it's better. Not to confuse. So this is going to be our room number. Is going to be what you calculate from here. What is root type? Simple. Equal to this one here. Combo box dot get selected item. Dot. Let's wait for it to auto-complete. Get selected item. Okay. So this is going to be that item, and this is generally creating a problem here. Incompatible object. So you put a string concatenation to cheat it. Room type is room.getSelectedItem. What is the price? Again, equal to double dot pass double, and then here you are going to get some item, and that item is what you get from here, room price. Okay, room. Oh, you haven't changed it. Room price. Okay, and I guess I have used room price. Okay, lucky. Dot get text dot trim. Always trim them, otherwise you might have white spaces. Okay, and then semicolon. The last item is hotel ID. So how do you get hotel ID? You don't have it, so you have to ask your room controller to get it. Okay, see, in the room controller we have this function that we have created to get the hotel name, hotel ID from hotel name. Okay, so you say room controller equal room controller dot get hotel ID from hotel name. You have this hotel name. What is the hotel name? Hotel name is going to be room type combo box. This is what is this variable? Oh, hotel combo. This is the section. Hotel combo dot get selected item, and then you have a semicolon here. So room controller dot get hotel. You are sending the hotel name, and then it will give you hotel ID. See, that's it. So you send them across. Room number. Okay, room number, room type, price, and hotel ID. Let's see if the order is correct. And of course, again, remember this dot dispose, because when we are adding them, we are done, right? This dot dispose. Then it goes into this item. It goes into the store method. It saves the item into the database and pops up this message. And then the store method has to show some view, because after finishing everything, what you do, this is something you have to tell us, right? So here you have to return some kind of a window where the people is going to see information. So just like the customer controller, here when you are storing it in the store method, there is a create or show method. See, if customer, you're supposed to show something actually. Yeah, okay, no problem. We can avoid that by removing this dot dispose, so that way it's just going to add. We is good to wait there because you might add more rooms, right? Yeah, let's try to test it. Room, we okay, this hotel, room number 235. Haha, no one has that number. Room second floor, fifth room, something like this. Room price 2500. Add unknown column room number in the text field. Okay, so where is room number? This is the, you have to get it from the room number. So in the room controller there is a mistake. Select hotel from hotel ID, select room number from room, where room number equal to is RM number. That's the correct value. Okay, room to this hotel, room number 205 is 2500. Add room saved to the database. Let's verify that. Select staff from room. Did I click go? Also, so select staff from. There we have it. See? Oh, the price didn't work. This is something you have to work. So it's because of the query. See here, insert into database rooms, hotel room type, room price, comma, room, oh no, price. It's called price, right? Yeah. So where is the price? Room dot get price. So here, after this, you'll have it. Plus, and then room price. So there's a comma, of course, and we have been putting the comma here actually. So remember that the syntax is we have to put a comma here and then a single quote to begin and then enter. Okay, this is the standard we have been using. And of course at the end, of course, again, because there is a semicolon here, also there will be no semicolon because single quote. What I'm trying to do here, you are trying to add room dot get price. Get price. Let's add a new room again with this time with, oh sorry, we don't need to put there. This time we'll add a room again. So another hotel, room number 205 again, because no problem with that, same is a different hotel. Room price they have it for 3000, for example. Add, save to the database, and if you go now, see, go, there you have it. This is good. Okay, so there's a lengthy discussion of how the room thing works and how rooms can be created. So I want you to try exactly what we have done here for the room and continue with the room edit delete parts. We will do a separate tutorial later for the edit. This is getting lengthier, so I will just end it here. Thank you very much. Let's continue in another session.